All right, today we're checking out my new AVENTON Sinch 500 watt peak 750 watt hub motor, front suspension, disc brakes, and yeah, we're gonna go for a ride. Let's do this. All right, so for those of you that follow my channel, I recently got my hands, well, first of all, I recently started reviewing bikes for two websites. One, ebicycles.com, and the other, Bicycle Guider, bicycle-guider.com. And bicycle-guider.com recently sent me a Hafny Cruiser 750 watt hub motor mountain bike like 2 weeks ago to review, and I reviewed it and then I got to keep it. So you've seen on my channel a few reviews of the bike, but I already have a mountain bike, and so I kind of felt like it was redundant. So last week I sold it, and now I have the AVENTON Sinch. I kind of used the proceeds from that sale to buy the AVENTON Sinch, and so far so good. This is my maiden voyage on this bike, and gotta say, I'm impressed. I like it. It's really freaking durable. I did tons of research, and as far as the Tektronix brakes and the Shimano gearing, it really has the best quality components. You know, some of the other bikes have lower quality. You know, there's actually an image that shows all the different versions. Hold on, I'll hold on a second. There's actually an image on the internet that I got a hold of that shows all the different levels of Shimano gearing, and some bikes have like the really low end. This has a higher end, so pretty good quality components as far as, you know, brakes, the throttle, the gear shifting, you know, the hand brakes, all that stuff. It's just really good quality, and I really like that. And I got, you know, there's some really good reviews about that. Somebody else, it might be Electric Bike Review or it's e-bike school, I can't remember which, where they talk about the welds on this thing, and he said that the welds on this bike, it's the most beautiful craftsmanship he's ever seen. And it's like, just every attention to detail on this bike is you know, really well done. So anyway, I did a review recently of 750 watt folding e-bikes, and you know, granted this is a 500 watt, even though they say 750 watt peak, it's got a 500 watt motor with 750 watt peak. So anyway, I included this because I was kind of misled by that. I included this bike in that review, and you know, I gave it some high marks, but I considered, you know, some of the other bikes to be better quality. But now, after really digging in, I realized that this is the best bike, even including the 750 watts. You know, you put this thing for throttle only, or you put it in pedal assist 5, and you're zipping. You know, you're really freaking zipping. It's got a lot of power, and right now I'm in pedal assist 1, and I'm just trying to get some exercise, you know. So it's giving me a little boost, not tremendous. One other thing I can say is the handlebars, although I really like them, I love the straight bar, and I really like these handlebar grips, and I'm a big fan of all the different componentry up here. It actually even came with this light, really nice light, and a bottle cage, which I didn't put on. The handlebars are a little narrow, so there's not a whole lot of, you know, real estate for a mirror, if you will. So I almost need to get a mirror that like goes from here all the way over or something. So that's the only kind of drawback I see. Something else to consider is I'm 6 foot, and the seat on this thing goes way up. I accommodates me very easily. I just had my 6'5" neighbor, Jerry. He's 81. Yeah. Anyway, he's a very spry 81, but he was on it, and he's like, "Man, this thing's pretty big. I didn't realize how big it was." Because before I got it, I showed him an image on the internet, and he's like, "Oh, that's a little baby's bike." And I'm like, "No, it's pretty big when you see it in person." And he was blown away at how big it was. So, as far as some of the other bikes, you know, Rad Power Mini, and you know, some of those others, I can't remember the names. They just, you know, they just don't have the seat height, the frame height, you know, to be this large. So some of those are meant for smaller people. This one definitely could go all the way up. Honestly, to 6'8", I bet you'd be comfortable riding this thing, truly. And it's got the 20 by 4" fat tires, Kenda Crusades, which I tried to buy, or actually I bought for my Super 73R series, because I was like so excited about them. They had such great reviews. They've got built-in tire liners, but they don't fit the Super 73 wheels. So I actually had to like trade them in for some Mongoose tires, Chow Yang, which is what my Super 73 has now. But I was kind of disappointed I couldn't use the Crusades. But this has the Kenda Crusades, so it's almost meant to be, right? And it's got 7 speeds, which is pretty cool. The only interesting thing about this bike, which perhaps for older people it makes sense, for younger folks, not as much sense, where you can't use the throttle at a dead stop. You have to be going like 1 mile an hour. So you can't, if you're going up a hill and you stop halfway, you're kind of screwed. But Jerry, my older neighbor, tried to get on this thing, and he liked that you had to pedal a little bit to get it going, so it didn't just take off on him, you know. So yeah, the pedal assist doesn't kick in until you pedal like once or twice, and the throttle is disabled until you pedal once or twice. So right now I just pedaled once, twice, now it's kicking in, the pedal assist. So I don't know if that's a safety thing. Personally, you know, as a person that's under 50, I would rather just have the ability to go right from the get-go, you know, and worry about that myself. But I don't know. I don't know if it was a built-in feature on purpose, or the componentry they chose, the electrical system they chose just doesn't allow it. I don't know. But we are rocking, and I'm digging it, people. I'm really digging it, you know. I like high quality. To me, the Himaway Cruiser, albeit ginormous power motor, 750 watt, but it's almost like 1,000. It freaking takes off. It has 80 Newton meters of torque. You know, it's a freaking beast, and it climbs hills like nothing. The components on it are pretty low end. You know, I'm not a big fan of the Shimano Altus. It's almost like plastic, you know. This thing is like metal. It's, you know, it's, I don't know. It just looks better. It's better quality. Also, the Altus, you gotta like, it has this knob that sticks up, and you gotta flip it forward to shift down, and there's this little button you push to shift up. It's just not very intuitive, and it just feels like it's clunky, like it could break. So I like that this thing has high quality components. Let's see, it has 180 millimeter rotors. It has dual disc brakes. Let's see what else. Front suspension with adjustability and a lockout. It does not have rear suspension, but I suppose you could very easily put a suspension seat post. And some suspension seat posts, which people have good reviews on, go as low as like 30 bucks. Yeah, you can get like the Connect that are like 250, and those are extremely high end, really for more like mountain bikers. But you could get one, and I think you could probably use it and probably be fine and give you like the cushion you need. You know, the front is good. I always talk about e-bikes and where I don't know what the correct terminology is. The center of gravity, I don't know. Where the bike really feels the most in most of the bumps, you know? Each bike has like a certain spot. Like the For example, what is that called? The Swagtron EB7 Plus. The little $700, $250 watt rear hub motor. It only has rear suspension, and you're like, oh man, really? But the bike, you only feel the vibrations of the ground and the turbulence in the seat. And so rear shocks is all it needs. It doesn't need the front shocks. The Hafny Cruiser has no rear shocks, but the front shocks are brilliant. And with the fat tires and the front shocks, you know, all the weight is in the front shocks. So, and you know, in the front wheels and the handlebar. So the front shocks is all it needs. So that's kind of interesting. This bike, jury's still out. I've been over some bumps. It's not bad. It's got a really nice cushiony seat, so I think that helps. And it's got these big bouncy tires, which definitely helps. But the front suspension seems to be doing its job. I haven't gone off-road yet. That's what I'm going to try to do here and see. But I do, again, suspect that you need a C-post, suspension C-post. So another thing about this bike, man, is it sleek looking. Like, you line up all the folding bikes on the market, right? And you know, I would include the Carbo, the Go Cycle, you know, you know, this bike is right freaking up there, man. I'm telling you, as far as looks, I mean, it's just beautiful. So I don't know. I mean, looks are important to some people, but I guess I'm kind of included in that. And I just love the look of this thing. It's beefy. It's really smooth. It's got brilliant welds. Look at those welds right there, you know? Everything is just top notch. So anyway, that's kind of my brief review, if you will. Really nice big display. Like, wow. But the only thing is, it doesn't illuminate. So at night you got nothing. So a really cool light, even branded AVENTON that it came with. And it's got a really cool rear light. But again, they're both battery, but they have USB, so it's rechargeable. I don't know, I appreciate that. I appreciate they included that. That's a nice little touch, you know? Now, one thing I can say, and I don't want to hate on anybody, but a couple of things when you get the bike aren't the most intuitive. So this display mount, they have on backwards. They have the bolts that secure it in place going in backwards. You have to adjust the handlebars, like rotate them up so the brakes are reachable and all that first before you can put it. So you have to take it off right when you get the bike, the display. Then you rotate the handlebars up and you clamp that back in place. Then you're able to put the display back in place, but you got to switch around the bolts. It's really not intuitive. I mean, I'm not an idiot, but I had to call the freaking people, you know, and say, what the hell, right? Okay, here's another thing. The battery, big old battery. I think it's 14.5 amp hours. I'll include it in the link. It's hidden in the frame, which is really cool. But unlike some other bikes, let's just say, for example, the Swagtron EB7, you just throw it in there and it works. This thing, you have to, there's a rail in the bottom of the cavity that the battery goes in, and you got to put the rail that's on the bottom of the battery in line with the rail that's in the cavity and align it up perfectly or it won't work. So I shoved it in. Obviously I didn't do it right and it didn't work, and I'm like, well, this sucks. The battery won't turn on, the bike won't turn on. So again, called AVENTON, and they're like, oh yeah, we have a lot of problems with that. So what sucks is these are issues that could very easily be fixed or addressed. Put some freaking language in your instructions, right? I mean, instructions are pretty much non-existent. So for an American company to have like no English really directions is kind of unacceptable in my opinion. Really nice people when you call them, but like, wow, if I'm having problems, you know, then I think a lot of people are gonna have problems, right? It's like, come on. So anyway, enough of that. Anyway, we're gonna take a little bit of an off-road trip here and just see what this is all about. There's a lot of wind today. It's dying down a little bit, but it was upwards of 30 miles an hour Southern California. They turned off the power in a lot of places. And now we're gonna kind of test the suspension, the tires, the grip, and the power. Okay, so here we go. And again, I'm in pedal assist 1 just because I'm trying to get some exercise. So I'll do other videos where I put in, you know, put it in other modes. One thing I can say is, having just ridden my Super 73R with the new V3 motor, of which I'm going to do a review and the comparison of the two. The rear shocks on the Super 73R are just brilliant. This thing doesn't have them. Clearly, it's not going to be as smooth of a ride. But again, I'm feeling all the bounce and the vibration in the front handlebars, and because it's got the shocks, it's handling it really well. And I think these tires really do help. You know, it's like having like pontoons under you. I'm not really feeling it right now. And again, the seat has like a gel. It's got like, if you look at it, it's like a gel padding inside. It's really comfortable. So, but full disclosure, I am wearing padded bike shorts right now. But even so, I've ridden it. I rode it last night a little bit with just regular shorts, and the seat does its job, you know. So here we are on like a dirt gravel road, cactus sighting, and so far so good. You know, I'm really feeling it in the handlebars, and the handlebars are, with the suspension, is doing a really good job of dampening the vibration. And grip is really good. These tires definitely give you good grip. And I'm doing all this in pedal assist 1, right? So we got like a nice big old hill coming up here. I may have to downshift, but I'm in pedal assist 1. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, I got downshift. All right. So I'm in gear 4, and man, I'm just freaking rocking this thing. Are you seeing this? This is brilliant. So for a 500 watt motor, it's definitely got some power, you know.